feel it in my face. Girl, I just can't resist, no. I'm falling, oh. I never knew someone quite like you. You lift me up. I'm feeling sky blue. Said I know what I want, baby. Don't wanna let go, baby. You say that it sounds crazy, but some things make you act crazy. It's called love. Oh. It's called love. Have you been loved? Have you been loved? It's called love. Have you been loved? Have you been loved? It's called love. Have you been loved? Said I got to have you for myself. I don't really want nobody else. I'm willing to put it all. I'm willing to put it on the line. Baby, be mine. Baby, be mine. 'Cause I know, say I know what I want, baby. You know what I want, baby. You say that it sounds crazy, but I am be crazy. It's called love. It's called love. Have you been loved? Have you been loved? It's called love. Have you been loved? Have you been loved? It's called love. Have you been loved?
You're listening to Elevations Radio, your station for uplifting lifestyle and wellness talk radio.
Views expressed on shows are those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of the station, its management, or other advertisers. Use of these shows and all services provided therein are for personal use only. The Elevations Radio Network holds no responsibility for the validity or accuracy of information on these shows.
Hey fam, welcome to the Let's Be Real show with Greg Bam Reaves here on elevationsradio.com. I am your host, Greg Bam Reaves, along with the beautiful Benita Rahman.
Hey, how are you?
And before I get started, I want to send out my sincere condolences to the wife, family, friends, and loved ones of Mr. James Clopton Sr., better known as Buddy. He's the owner of Jody's, where many of you know that I DJ at 3 nights a week. He passed yesterday. And he was a really great man, so we're all a little saddened by that. And yeah, I just want to get that out the way and say that. And,
condolences.
Yeah,
and prayers to the family.
We be praying for you all. If there's any particular topics or guests you'd like to see on Let's Be Real with Greg Bam Reaves, you can inbox me on Facebook. You can drop us a comment on Elevations Radio Facebook page. You can email me at letsbereal63@yahoo.com. We got a lot of interesting shows coming up soon this month and next month. Unfortunately, today, my guests weren't able to make it due to the inclement weather here in Cleveland. Two of them making money. Because they plow snow, and you got to get that money, and I don't blame you. The third one, haven't heard from him yet. He may show up, call in, whatever. We'll see. But, okay, so happy International Women's Day.
Yes.
And you read it already. You cheated. I was about to test my co-host and ask her, does she know when and how it started? That's right.
I did read
no,
it.
No. You're a woman. You're supposed to know this.
No, I did read. No, I did read his notes. And did I look up well, first of all, we started. I already know how it started. We started it. No, I will let you go ahead and look into how this day started.
It's actually kind of ironic that it was started in Russia. The women of Russia started it. They were a protest and strike for bread and peace. This was during the war in 1917. And it got adopted by the United Nations in 1975. So, and actually the actual day was the last Sunday in February, but according to the Gregorian calendar, I wanted to say that so bad since my name is Gregory. Yeah. But according to that calendar, the last Sunday in February was actually March 8th. So that is how International Women's Day got started. Now, why do we celebrate International Women's Day? I'll tell you. We're just celebrating the social, economic, cultural, political achievements of women. There's no International Men's Day because we got every holiday anyway, I guess. So.
Well, actually, it's funny. There was a joke on social media. It said, if today is International Women's Day, does that mean every other day is International Men's Day? That was a joke that was
initially this started International Women's Year. And then they just decided to make it one day.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I don't know how do you choose a year? So I guess it started out a year, and then they said, okay, let's do this every year, one day.
Yeah.
So that's how that goes. But happy International Women's Day. This is something else funny. I was just thinking about Melania. I guess she's an international woman, right? So moving on. Ladies, call in 440-252-0518. You got your International Women's Day thing you want to say?
Or even,
Phone lines are open.
or if I can even say, it's just how are people acknowledging today? Because that's what I would love. Is anybody doing anything special today?
Right. I'll tell you this. Is a confusion about the color. Because initially it was green and purple. And recently it's been pink. And I don't know where the colors came from or why they're changing, but I think a lot of people may be confused on what color they're supposed to wear today.
It makes sense that the other one is natural.
Yeah, because everybody's pink now.
Yeah.
Breast cancer is pink. And,
And I don't know. Actually, it's funny you say that because people are associating pink with females. It's just, so.
Right, because I don't see anything wrong with purple and green.
Right.
Yeah, and most of the women, I know their favorite color is purple. My mother's is purple. My oldest daughter's favorite color is purple.
Mine is.
I'm looking at a purple laptop.
Purple means royalty.
Yeah.
That's one of purple is one of mine. Green people say money. So, but purple is one of my favorite colors. But I have a lot of favorite.
I am wondering why purple and green, why those were the colors at first, and I believe it probably did change over to pink because that's like the ultimate woman color.
Yeah.
And my past girlfriend, when I say past, she passed away. I don't like calling her my ex. That don't sound right, but she hated pink.
I don't like pink either.
And she looked absolutely gorgeous in this pink dress that she had on. I got a picture of her, and she wore it because of an event, but she hated pink. I'm like, I don't never met a woman that didn't like pink.
I don't like pink. It's too girly. It's just, And I'm a girl, but I don't like pink at all.
Yeah.
I'm not a pink person.
So last Sunday was the Oscars, and it was too late for Black Panther. But I would like to send a congratulations to Jordan Peele.
Yes.
First Black person to win for Best Screenplay. And was very, very interesting. He wrote Get Out. Was very, very interesting to me about Get Out is, and I love what he said about his mother in his acceptance speech. And Get Out was a lot about, if you ever watch the Key and Peele show, Key is biracial also. They're both biracial. So the story kind of came from their experiences in their life. Peele, his mother is white. His wife is white. And even though the story isn't his personal story, that's where he kind of like got the inspiration and the idea of that story. I thought that was kind of cool. So big ups to the Black screenplay writers
Now,
Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Screenplay writers.
Now I can't wait to see what happens next year, though, as far as what Black Panthers. I'm curious.
I'll be honest with you. I think if it wins any awards, it'll be costume.
Yeah.
Or what do you call it? Cinematography.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll win like actor or anything like that.
I don't see a Best Picture or anything, even though it should.
It was so early in the year. Something's going to come out later on this year that people are going to forget about Black Panther.
But do you think that'll be the reason just because it was early in the year?
No, I don't really think it's an Oscar-worthy movie anyway. I mean, I love it. Like, I love Friday, but...
I guess with me, because I see some of these films that do win Picture of the Year, and I guess it depends on who's critiquing it. A lot of them I don't see as Oscar-worthy.
I'm going to tell you this. I started doing this years ago. It was a lot of movies came out. I had no interest in watching. But when I see how many nominations they get for the Oscars, I watch them, and I wind up liking them. Now, the one this year that won the most Oscars, Shape of Water, I'm not hating. It's weird. You have to get through a good portion of the movie before you start accepting it. I'm still not seeing
where. Thank you.
All the Oscar wins come from,
and that's what I say. It's like what made that film Oscar worthy as the best film.
It was. If there was Oscar for the weirdest, I can see. But
right.
I mean, it was good. I did like it. It took me a minute. I watched it because it was highly recommended to me by a coworker who I trust her judgment when it comes to movies. And I told her the type of movies I like. She said, there's a lot of that in there. There's crime and there's this and that. I'm like, okay. And I gave it a shot. The first 10 minutes, I'm like, I ain't going to be able to do this. But then I thought about who told me. I said, okay, wait a minute. I'm going to give it one more shot. And I wound up going through and I liked it. I did. I just didn't see Oscar in it.
And that's what I say.
I really didn't.
And I'm not even saying Black Panther is Oscar. I mean, it was a great film.
Yeah.
But
like I said, I think there's aspects of it that are definitely Oscar worthy. Like costumes, cinematography, those type of things, yeah. I would even, a lot of, what's the award? Supporting actor. I could see Michael B. Jordan maybe being nominated because he played the heck out of Eric Killmonger.
I mean, I do definitely say it should be some noms, though. It should be some nominations.
Yeah.
I definitely should see that, so.
Yeah, so big ups to Jordan Peele again. I want to mention real quick, saw this video. This woman is such a hater. I'm not going to say her name. I remember it. I didn't write it down, but I'm not going to say her name. But anyway, they're bashing Colin Kaepernick again. So I see this video where I didn't know that he had put out $1 million challenge, that he was going to give out $1 million to certain organizations that fight against injustices and racism and all that. And I'm like, that's what I'm talking about.
Right.
Y'all talk about him kneeling during the anthem, but he's actually doing what we expect you politicians to do.
Right.
He's giving his own personal money to these organizations that y'all just sit back and complain about the anthem, but then you sit there and let Fergie butcher it. I mean, come on. So anyway, he said he was down to the last 100,000. That means he's already donated 900,000 of his own personal money, and he ain't even got a job.
Right.
He's unemployed.
Right.
And I noticed a list of entertainers, celebrities that joined him. They matched his $1 million challenge: Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Snoop Dogg, T.I., Chris Brown, Serena Williams, and Jesse Williams. And I thought that was definitely worth mentioning on this show.
Yes.
Because that is great. And it's going to some... I always said I want to be in a position. This is my dream for Let's Be Real show and Elevations Radio. I want to get to the point that I can do something like this. I can donate $1 million to. I've worked for so many nonprofits. I know the ones, at least in Cleveland. I know the ones that actually put in the work and are not just the name.
Right.
I remember 9/11. I was working at 2100 Men's Shelter when it happened. I remember when that happened, and I think it was like $300 million just disappeared from Salvation Army. And after like 2 months, everybody stopped talking about it.
Yeah.
Like, what happened to that money? Because it didn't go to who it was supposed to go to. the survivors, the families of people that were killed, and
That's what they always say. Be careful who you donate to, especially like American Red Cross. I don't even trust a lot of them because you don't really know where your money
but
is.
see, that's the thing. Those organizations have names, been out here so long.
Right.
People just assume, oh yeah, I donated them. I know
I'm good.
they're
Yeah.
going to get it.
Right.
United Way, Red Cross. And I'm not saying that all these organizations are crooked or anything
Right.
like
It's
that.
just-
I'm just
right.
saying
You just don't
these
know.
are names you recognize, so you don't think twice about
We trust,
sending your
yeah.
money to them.
Right.
But if Bam's babies come around asking for donations for kids of, I don't know, whatever, think
right.
of something.
People
Like,
gonna question
man,
it.
who are you?
Right.
I ain't giving you my money. Go ahead
Right.
on.
You have to have a name. I mean, you do.
Yeah.
And something you just said is real. And that's what I thought about that when I went over to Africa, is that I always said, I always want to be in a position to give like this. And then I had to tell myself, Benita, you don't have to wait to get to this level to give.
Right.
And that's one thing.
That's true.
Because, no, I feel the same way. I said, I can't wait to be in a position I could just give this large amount of money. Because that's my dream. When I went over to Africa, I said, I want to open, because Oprah is my mentor, I want to open up a place for young girls there. And I said, Benita, well, in the meantime, you can still help out at least one girl here at in your home. You know, so I think like you. I think big, but I said in the meantime,
Do
just
this.
you could do this in the meantime.
In the wintertime, I ride around with old coats in my car
Right.
that I pass out to people that need a coat. When it's, I've been doing that for a couple of years now. Working with the homeless opened my eyes about a lot of things. I've said this before. I say a lot. People love to feed the homeless during Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter, stuff like that. And they need so much more than just food. They really, if you're in a shelter, there's no hungry homeless person in the shelter because they get fed.
Right. Okay.
Everybody donates food, but there's so many other things. There's people that need interview clothing so they can get out of the homeless situation. You know what I mean? So, yeah, there's a lot of things we can do while we're waiting to get to that next level.
Yes.
And I was thinking about, when you mentioned Africa, I was thinking about, well, two guys in particular. J.J. Watt, who's a defensive lineman for the Houston Texans. Wait a minute. Yeah, Houston Texans. I'm a football fan. I forgot the name of the team. He got a lot of press for helping out victims of, I can't remember, we had so many hurricanes, but the Houston area was devastated by one of these recent hurricanes. And he did a lot. He raised a lot of money, helped a lot of people, and that was great. He's getting all the press while Colin Kaepernick is getting beat up. And he's doing the exact same thing, but out of his own pocket.
Okay.
But then you got Howie Long's son, Chris Long, who I think he got two sons in the NFL. I think this is the one that played for Philadelphia, just won the Super Bowl. He got this thing. He went to Africa and noticed there's such a lack of clean, fresh water. So he got together with some other football players. They call themselves the Water Boys, and they are building these water tanks all over Africa, serving fresh water to hundreds of people. Well, might be in the thousands by now, but it's a continuous thing. And I was like, that is great.
That's what Jay-Z did over there as well.
That is great. And this is not a black athlete that went over there that it touched his heart, even though some of the Water Boys are black now.
Yeah.
But initially,
to my heart. Be kind to my heart. Please be kind to my heart. Please be kind to my heart. Please be kind to my heart. Well, I'm not afraid to say how much I love ya. I'm not afraid to show how much I care. All I ask is you keep my heart close to yours. I'm not afraid to say how much I love ya. I'm not afraid to show how much I care. All I ask is you keep my heart close to yours. I'm not afraid to say how much I love ya. I'm not afraid to show how much I care. All I ask is you keep my heart close to yours. I'm not afraid to say how much I love ya. I'm not afraid to show how much I care. All I ask is you keep my heart close to yours. I'm not afraid to say how much I love ya. I'm not afraid to show how much I care. All I ask is you keep my heart close to yours. My heart is already been broken. I'm not afraid to show how much I care. All I ask is you keep my heart close to yours. I'm not afraid to say how much I love ya. I'm not afraid to show how much I care. All I ask is you keep my heart close to yours. I'm not afraid to say how much I love ya. I'm not afraid to show how much I care. All I ask is you keep my heart close to yours. Be kind to my heart.
Okay, we are back. You were just listening to Cleveland P. Jones, and the song was called Be Kind. I tell you every single week, you need to check out Elevations Radio because the music you only hear here. You won't hear anywhere else. Sounds a little better. But it's great music, all kinds of music. We got a little gospel, a little jazz, a little neo soul, some of everything. So check out the music on elevationsradio.com. Okay, and we're back talking about life before, during, and after incarceration. Mm-hmm. Now, because I was a correction officer here in Cleveland, at that time, they had a special prison for former law enforcement officers in Warren. And by the time I got there, they ended that because they felt like that was discrimination.
That's what I was going to ask. How was that transition?
Yeah, they said that was discrimination. People were mad, like, how they going to get them in a separate prison? And so I was like, I wasn't the first one, but I was one of the first ones that got sent to a prison that was 80% Cleveland. Mm-hmm. And I guess they thought I was going to be scared or nervous, but it's like I wasn't a bad person as a CO. Mm-hmm. I treated those guys with respect. For one, when you're in a county, you haven't been convicted yet. Mm-hmm. I mean, once you're convicted, you're usually rolled out. Okay. Like within a couple of days or a week or whatever, unless you're sentenced to be in the county. Okay. So these are guys who are, in my eyes, innocent till proven guilty. Mm-hmm. And I treated them like and I had too many guys I actually knew because I was involved in the street. So why would I treat them like that wasn't my job?
Right.
My job was actually to keep them safe. Mm-hmm. So anyway, they sent me down there. And as soon as I got off the bus, excuse me, I'm sorry. As soon as I got off the bus, one of the guys that testified against me is the first guy that greeted me. And I'm thinking to myself, like, wow, I'm getting tested early. And he was like, Bam, you need anything? I said, yes, I need everything. Whatever you got, I need. Mm-hmm. It's like I automatically got off the bus with a mentality of, yeah, I'm about to be tough.
Okay.
Not that I am tough, but he made me, seeing him, the first face I saw, mm-hmm. like, wow. So anyway, I get in there and I'm meet a couple of people that I know, and they're showing me around, walking the yard and all that. And everything was cool at first. And then after a day or so, I guess people found out who I was. Mm-hmm. And I'm hearing, people saying, cricket officer, cricket officer. About the third day, I'd had enough. I stood up on my bunk and I said, yes, I am a former correction officer. Mm-hmm. And I got to do 5 to 10 years. And I'm not putting up with this every day. Anybody got a problem with me, come to this back wall and let's settle this right now. Mm-hmm. Because, 5 to 10 years?
Right.
That's
a long time.
I'm 32. Mm-hmm. So that means I'm going to either get out at 37
or 42.
Or 42. And when you're 32, that's like, what?
Right.
So I was like, no, it ain't gonna go down like this. Mm-hmm. And I made that, and I never had any other problems about that again. Okay. And it was definitely transition. I mean, that goes without saying. That place is a totally different world. Mm-hmm. It's not Oz. It's not even Orange is the New Black. It's not anything you've seen on TV. One thing I can say, like, you rarely see anybody get raped because there's too many people that are openly gay. So what's the point?
That's what that would be my fear as a black man or as a man.
Yeah.
It's like, that's what you would think. It's like that fear of just being raped in there. I mean.
Yeah, well, it used to be that way.
Okay.
Like back in the day, like the guys I told you I knew.
Right.
That had been in prison when I was growing up. I mean, if you're light skinned, you might as well make your Kool-Aid lipstick and and your mascara out to pistol shavers, and you know, that was it. I mean, and I've met a lot of guys that have been down for a long time, and they would tell me, like, they use that to punish the white guys for the way they was treated on the street. Wow. That's a concept that I can't not get. That's punishment.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's punishment. But what about you though?
Right.
I'd rather just beat them up if that's
right,
how you.
Right.
But no, you think that's punishment? Okay, whatever. Okay. That's a whole other mentality.
Okay.
And I went in. This is another thing. Let me get to real quick. There were two different laws. I went in under the old law, where you got these crazy long sentences, and then the law changed to the new law, which were shorter, and you get a definite outdate. Like there's no such thing as a 5 to 10 anymore. It's like you got 5 years, period, point blank. So the crazy part is we could have the same exact crime, theft or breaking in or whatever. I'm under the old law. I got 7 to 25. You in the bunk next to me under new law, you got 2 years. That makes for a volatile situation. Now really? I hate you. I hate you because we got the exact same crime. We were sentenced like a year apart.
I got you.
You got 2 years and I got 7 and a quarter.
Okay.
It's not your fault.
Right.
But you're the one I'm taking out on because we're in close proximity. It'd be different if they put all the new law guys in one place and leave the old law. No, they put them in a bunk right next to you. This is one of those reasons why people talk about don't ask anybody what they're in there for, or don't tell anybody what you're in there for. Because if you're in there for the same thing I'm in there for, and I got way more time than you, I'm going to automatically dislike you.
So then that's my question. And what's your mentality? Obviously, your mentality has to change from the streets now to prison. How do you make that transition?
Well, that's the thing. You have to make that decision to change your mentality, because some people don't.
Okay.
I told my kid's mother the day before I left, I said, you only come out of prison one of two ways, better or worse. Nobody comes out the same. You get changed. I said, I'm determining right now I'm going to come out a better man than I went in.
Okay.
I went in there, I said, I'm going to work on all what I feel like are my weaknesses. One, I'm definitely going to get closer to God. I did not find Jesus in prison. I had him before I went. But I did work on my relationship with him while I was there. Also worked on me physically, worked out all the time. I knew one of my biggest weaknesses were women. I didn't look at TV or read any magazines or anything for like the first 2.5 years because I wanted to pretend like women didn't exist. Why torture myself? I'm not going to have one or be around one. So I tried to pretend like women didn't exist. So I took that time to work on all of my weaknesses. And then I found out that I love to write. I mean, before I wrote poetry, but I'm talking about write, like books. I got a job in a library at Belmont. And when I got there were only 2 shelves of black books in the whole library. I worked my way up and got to the point where I was the guy ordering the books. When I left Belmont in 1999, they had 2 walls of black books.
Okay.
I left Belmont, I went to Richland, and there I actually opened up the library in the literacy unit. They had a literacy unit that the guys that I invited here today, they were all tutors. And everybody in there was either a tutor or a student. And I ran the library. And I noticed people like, they really do that? Yeah, we had to rehabilitate ourselves. The system isn't really set up to do that.
That was going to be my next,
Yeah, but I mean, they did. And Richmond was a brand new prison. So this was something new, new idea they came up with to have a literacy unit. I don't know if any other prisons had that at the time. They all got libraries. They got people that help you, whatever. But I'm talking about an actual building where everybody in there is a tutor or a student. So I thought that was kind of cool. And that's how me and Kevin and Dennis and Ern all got real cool. They were tutors and I ran a library.
Okay.
And so that just furthered my development. And by this time, I found out when I was getting out.
Okay.
So that's like a burden lifted off of you. It's hard when you know you got 2.5 more years to go.
How do you go in and they don't tell you when you're coming out?
Because under the old law, you got 5 to 10.
Because I remember that was always say you got 5 to 10. They'll say that.
Yeah, and so it depends on a lot of things. It depends on your crime when you go to parole board, because you get retried. Every time you go to parole board, you get retried. Shawshank Redemption is pretty close to reality.
Okay.
As far as that goes. So you go in under the old law. Like I said, I had a 5 to 10. There's programs I can take to shorten my time. I still got to go to parole board, period. So I got to do at least 2.5 years. And then they'll let me know if they're going to let me out or not let me out. The only cool thing is, because they changed the new law, everybody under old law got a definite out date whenever they went to the parole board.
Okay.
So those days of not knowing is pretty much over.
Okay.
But yeah, a lot of it depends on how you act. Are you getting in trouble? Your case, your crime, and all that. It was funny because I'd never ever been in any trouble with the law. And when I went to parole board, they said they was giving me some more time because they thought I was penitentiary slick, because I never got in any trouble. I'm like, how am I penitentiary slick and I've never been here before?
Okay.
I hear I got a caller on the air. Caller, state your name, where you calling from. Caller, can you hear me?
What's up, this is Goldie.
What's up, little bro?
Yeah, I hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can. You're on the air.
What's happening?
You got it. How's everything going?
What year was you at Warren?
Huh?
What year was you at Warren?
What year was I what?
I said, what year was you in Warren?
Oh, I was never in Warren. I was saying that they used to have a prison Warren for ex law enforcement officers, but they broke that up. They said it was discrimination.
They had. I was there. I was there when they first opened it. When the Lucasville riots happened, I got transferred there from Lancaster. I was in another prison, but when I got there, it wasn't. It's not a police. It's called PC. It was
right.
Custody. They had officers. Like if you was an officer, you would go there for PC, and they had a whole PC unit.
Right.
But it was a time when dudes filled out, legal papers and filed a lawsuit for discrimination because they was getting preferential treatment. But at the end of the day, I think they was doing that just to get at them dudes. They still got PC, but they just don't have it in the way that it used to be. It's still there, but it's not like it used to be where you automatically go. Now you can opt out. You can opt out. Yeah. Like a lot of the officers that come down, they be like, you know what I'm saying, I don't want to be in PC because there's a stigma behind it. So they opt out and be in population, but it's rough.
Yeah. And for those that don't know, PC means protective custody.
What year was you locked up?
I was locked up from 1990.
You were still under the old law?
Yep, 1996 to 2001. I got sentenced in 95.
You must have caught the last.
Yeah, I was the last. Yeah,
I was about to say you had to catch it at the end because the law changed in 96.
Right. I was in Belmont when it changed.
No, I was like, no, you got a 5 to 10 and he was there in 2000.
No, I got out 2001. I went to Belmont first, then Richland, then Grafton.
I said,
you hear me?
Oh yeah, you had a smooth ride. It ain't too rough. The Belmont might be a little rough now, but in the beginning back then it wasn't real rough.
I
was in Lancaster. It was a little more rough.
Oh yeah, that's Baby Luke. For those listening, Lucasville is a maximum.
I just called in to chime in on the topic from experience. You know,
right.
A whole lot, especially with the prison system. I did 6 years. I'm a 3-time felon. So I did 4, then I did 18 months, then I did 6 years. I'm done now, but when I was a kid, I was, a drug dealer and, all this stuff that go with it. But I just called in to chime in on the topic because I was talking about incarceration.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you for calling.
I'm just here. I'm just riding with y'all.
Okay, thanks.
Go ahead, talk. I'm just riding with y'all. I was
all right.
if y'all had any questions and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, I just want to clarify.
What was y'all talking about?
No, I was just explaining to people that don't know the lingo what some of the things you said meant. Like PC is protective custody. When you talk about Lancaster, and I said it's Baby Luke, Lucasville is a maximum security prison in Ohio, one of the toughest. And Lancaster.
Dudes getting killed, dudes getting stabbed.
And Lancaster is called.
I used to call it this. I say every 19 minutes, this place goes crazy.
Right. And Lancaster called Baby Luke because
every 19 minutes that place went crazy with.
It's a lot like Lucasville, just younger.
I know it must be a delay or something.
Yeah, it is. It is a delay. But Lancaster is a lot like Lucasville, just younger inmates there. That's why they call it Baby Luke. But it's rough too. Yeah. When I was in
one of the reasons why it was so rough. One of the reasons why it was so rough back then is because everybody had flat time, and that demographic was like 19 to 25. So everybody had doing the old law. This was the old law. I was there in 91. This is the old law. I was there from 91 to 93 when I rode the warrant. When I got rolled out the warrant, the old law was set up where if you had flat time, you no matter what happened in there, as long as you didn't catch another case, you was going home regardless.
Yeah,
there wasn't no good days, there wasn't no bad days, there wasn't none of that. You just automatically got your good time with 8 months, 14 days on the year. So when they came in, when we would come in there, like my first day in there, my partner walked up to me and said, like, Goldie, I'm telling you this how I go. And he smacked a white boy with a can of chili.
Right.
So I don't want, I could get real, I could tell, like, real graphic stories about my time there. I've done some things that I'm not proud of. Just, let dudes know I wasn't no sucker. Like, boy, I ain't never in my life seen nobody stand on no bed and call out the whole pod without getting beat up.
Right.
If somebody would have did that in Lancaster, talking about what they tired of, we'd have took a long, hard look at them real quick, too. We ain't play that. Like, I would make announcements, but I had squad. I had goons with me. You know what I'm saying? You can't just stand up and be like, oh, I'm not going to take this no more, and if whatever you want to do, somebody will pick up that little card.
I had a squad. Trust me.
Like
I had squads I didn't even know I had. For real. I wasn't just like standing up by myself. And plus, like I said, that was Belmont. It was different. It was minimum security, so wasn't nobody trying to really, And then when the new law came too,
Lancaster, believe it or not, Lancaster was minimum medium. Everybody here had it was the majority of the population had 5 years or less.
Mm-hmm.
You had a certain group of inmates that had longer sentences, but those are the inmates that ran the major parts of the prison, like, worked in different areas because they're going to be there for a while. Because in prison, they train you for jobs based on how long you're going to be there.
Right.
They said, well, we can get a foreman to run this area. He'll be here for 5 years, so we ain't got to worry about training nobody else for 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
But if you had 6 months, you basically sat in the pod and cleaned up all day as a porter.
Right.
The porter was the guy that cleaned the pod that kept everything clean. It was levels to that. You know what I'm saying? Like different porters for different areas, airports. I mean, it's a whole society. What people on the outside don't realize, all prison is a smaller world.
Yeah.
It decreases your decision-making power. You only got, I heard somebody say, a doctor came and spoke to us, and he said in the free world, you make between 3,000 and 5,000 decisions a day. Well, in prison, you make between 300 and 500 a day because you're limited. And it's just a smaller world. Everything that's out here is in there except for cars, sex, and toll-free phone calls. And, some of those things go on in there, too, but legally. know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's all in there. Like, you don't change the people. They just go in there and they do their time, and a lot of people put on facades and try to take programs. I mean, of course, it's exceptions to certain rules. Like, I believe myself that I had an epiphany while incarcerated on my last level. But that's rare. Most dudes go in there and sharpen their skills and meet better connections and come home with better criminals.
Right.
I don't understand. To me, the whole thing is organized slavery.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, definitely. We're getting that on another show because
that don't got an industry.
Mm-hmm.
It's an industry on every prison lot. It's called Ohio Penal Industries (OPI), and they pay guys like anywhere from like $50 a month to $100 a month. This is what I'm saying. They got guys doing $25 an hour jobs for 18 cents an hour or 10 cents an hour. You see what I'm saying? You got to look at it for what it really is. They making millions of dollars, and they paying their labor dirt cheap. And it's so bad that inmates in there are really trying to get those jobs because those jobs are the best jobs they got.
Right. Well, I mean, we're the most incarcerated country in the world, so we know it's big business. We got over 2 million people locked up. So
Ohio has the most prisons in the country.
Right. But I'm saying this country has the most people locked up in the world.
In this country.
Right.
Yeah, but you got to think about it. Ohio has the most prisons, so Ohio is the biggest contributor to that statistic.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Ohio got, I think 20-some prisons here.
Say that again?
I can't hear you well.
Oh, no. My producer said, what was your epiphany?
My epiphany is that crime don't pay.
Right.
I mean, real talk. Like, if you sit down, like I used to mentor, like what he said, like what he was saying, I'm a certified tutor. I held several offices in prison. On my prior numbers, I was a goon. I used to hurt people, and I used to, but not for no reason. But I was known for being a goon, put it like that. And I ran with gangs and all that stuff. I grew up. And then when I came back on this last number, I made a conscious decision that I'm going to do something to really try to switch it up, because they say insanity is when you do the same thing over and over and expect different results.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what I was doing. I was getting out. I was going back to the streets. I was hustling. I was doing what I do, because that's what I know to do, and that's what I know work. And that's what people do. They go back to their comfort zone. But long story short, economically, it doesn't pay. I was incarcerated, right? I'm going to give you an example. I would say the most money I ever had hustling was like $50, $60. So I'm at that point. This is how I do the math with the mentees. Like, I made $60,000, but it took me like 5 years to get to this status. Now, okay, you work a job, you can make at the minimum. Let's say you work at McDonald's, what is like $20,000-$30,000 a year, or $15,000-$20,000, something like that.
Yep.
Whatever. I don't know those exact numbers, but you make that money in a year, and you go home to your family every night, and that's your money. They can't take it from you. Matter of fact, they give you something back every year because they took too much. You know what I'm saying? I explained this to him. I said, now look at what you're making in here. You're not making nothing in here. You in here for 5 years. You're making $0 and 0 cents. Who's feeding your family now?
Right.
Don't tell me that you was out here doing it to feed your kids, because your kids starving right now.
Mm-hmm.
You're not there for 5 years. I'm sure they would rather have a piece of bread every day than nothing.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You could have brought them a loaf of bread a day if you was free, but now you can't give them nothing. And so I do the math with them. I say, okay, let's say the most you made, you had was $1,000 to you. Now, what you was flipping an ounce or something, you had $1,000. That same $1,000 is what you had the whole year. All you did was what you do, live off the profit.
Right.
So let's think about this. You had a job at McDonald's. You was making $200 a week. That's $800 a month that you can just blow and make it again next month. You know what I'm saying? I talk to them like this. This is money you could just not blow, but spend in a way where you ain't got to worry about your next package. You just get to make that money, go to work.
Right.
And so when I get finished with my mentees, and a light bulb came on for them, and because it came on for me, because nobody ever explained to me in the early age, there's no such thing as a successful drug dealer. There's no such thing. Nobody ever came from the streets to drug dealer famous.
Right.
You go to jail, you go to the grave, or you get some money and get out the game.
Yeah.
You know
and very few are able to do that.
Like, look, if you hustling, I can't tell, but you can't tell a kid,
Right.
You can't go to a kid that's uneducated, that has no father in the home, that has no examples of how to live. People show what they know and only know what's been shown to them. So you can't go to a kid with an attitude of like, you shouldn't have done that, because how can I tell you not to use everything in your power, everything in your ability, everything in your knowledge, everything that you have about you to survive? I can't tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
How can I tell you not to be a robber if that's all you know?
Well, I want
the number one thing that stop recidivism is education. Period.
Right.
People only limited to their options. If a guy ain't got but so many options, like when I was coming up, I thought I was gonna be a pimp, a hustler, or a preacher.
Right.
That was my option.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That was the way I looked at life, because that's what I was living.
Goldie, you still gonna be a preacher? We gotta wrap up.
Yeah. She said you're still gonna be a preacher, but I'm glad you called in. I gotta let you go because we about to end the show. I appreciate you, cuz.
Thank you for calling.
All right, I just wanted to call in.
All right.
Love you, Robin.
All right. Well, we got about a minute left. I really didn't get a chance to get a lot into life after prison. I just want to say real quick, a lot of times, if you are able to hire somebody within their first 30 days out, you will have the best employee in the world, because they don't want to go back. But after 30 days, you start feeling a little down, like, man, I'm not going to make it out here. And you start going back to your old ways, and you can easily fall back and go, like he said about the recidivism rate. That's why those first 30 days are like crucial. So we're going to talk a little bit more about this at another time. But for right now, you got any parting words?
No, you know what? If anything, he had a lot to say. I mean, he really did. And if one thing is education.
Yeah,
that's one thing that stuck to me. It's like if you have to educate yourself, and it's like he said. Another thing is, how do you tell someone? You don't tell someone, you show someone.
Well, let me say this too. When we talk about education, not just books and reading, because they have programs in prison that you can learn to be a plumber, and electrician, and all that. Now you can't get to the level where you're certified, where you can actually use that out here. But that knowledge you can.
And that's why I said
you can get out here with the knowledge of learning to be a plumber, electrician, whatever, and then get with a program where you can get. It's not wasting your time just because you can't get certified while you're there. Mm-hmm. You're gaining that knowledge.
Right.
And plumbers, electricians get paid.
You get paid, and and you're gonna always need a plumber or electrician.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's those are the couple of things that stood out to me. It's first of all education, and it's not about telling you have to show people.
Right.
And it actually touched on a conversation we were having prior to about parents being in the home and being present.
Yeah.
With your children, it's not spreading yourself so thin in the world. But no,
that's not fair.
No.
But I'm not going to even. That was not fair at all.
But
I'll tell you all about that another time.
I did because I want to.
Wrong.
No, it wasn't, and I put a little humor to everything. But no, but that is true. We have to show people. I can show you better than I can tell you, and that's why we need more people like this one gentleman to step up and he had a lot of good words, and I wish we had more time because I had a lot of it's a lot I was listening to.
Mm-hmm.
But yes.
Well, it's time to go, folks. Like I always say, huh?
Oh, I will. Yes, because I won't be here next week because I would be on vacation. But with that being said, we were just talking about plugging our business, and I am a massage therapist. And if I can even touch on this subject, one thing about, why I love massage therapy, because I had a client that has stuck in my head yesterday, is, just working on our mind, bodies, and spirit. Because when we have those elements together, it's amazing the situations we choose not to put ourselves in. When we have so much clutter in our minds, and that's what I try to release with people that come in from massage therapy, is to release the clutter, to relax the mind, body, and spirit. So that's just what I do. Massages by Benita, working at everything by face. And so that's what I love. I love to help people so we don't put ourselves in situations that we regret later.
Okay.
That's what I do.
I don't just DJ at Jodie's. I DJ, period. And my name, my company is Quitting Time Productions. You all know that I sell sanitary napkins also. I'm involved in a few little things, but yeah, you can email me, and you can use the same email, let's be real, 63@yahoo.com. You can inbox me on Facebook, Greg Bam Reaves. Leave me a message on Elevations Radio Facebook page. And yeah, I do weddings and all type of stuff.
So, and music is therapy.
That's what
too.
I do. That's right.
It's therapy.
So, in parting, I like to say, develop your hunger for knowledge and feed it. Pick up a book and read it. set a goal and see it through, and always, always believe in you. Peace and love, fam.
Peace out.
Nowadays everybody wanna talk like they got something to say, but nothing comes out when they mold their lips. Just a bunch of gibberish, yeah, forgive them for that, cause they forgot about me. Nowadays everybody wanna talk like they got something to say, but nothing comes out when they mold their lips. Just a bunch of gibberish, yeah, forgive them for that, cause they forgot about me. Who told you that I ever really needed you? If we gon' do this, we might as well tell the truth. You needed more than I ever needed from you. Look at me stand up, put my hands up with my hands proud. Cause I got power in my hand. I got power in my feet. I got power all over me. Cause I march to the beat of my own drum. About to blow up like my name is Bubble Young. If I could ever do it all over, yeah, I would. I'd be more loyal to myself, cause I know nobody could do it like me. Nobody could work hard for me. Nobody could see what I see. For me, for me, for me. Speaking to my people. Still